If you became the good kid, the funny one, the quiet one, or the fixer, this chapter explains why and how your love cup got shaped at the dinner table. This chapter 6 of There's a Hole in My Love Cup around the dinner table. Quick note, this is for reflection and education, not therapy or medical advice. This is chapter 6 of There is a Hole in My Love Cup around the dinner table. As noted in chapter 5, everybody is going through life holding out their love cup, trying to get people to pour love into it, trying to get it filled. As children, we're particularly tuned into this, whether we're aware of it or not. And the fewer sources of love a child or adult has pouring in love, the more frantic and neurotic the pursuit of love becomes. Come adulthood, to the point of out of control in its worst states. The way a child's personality develops is by basically responding to the primary adults or influences in his or her life. The child, quite innately, just tunes into what mom or dad, or the kindergarten teacher, uncles, aunts, grandparents, Sunday school teachers, etc., like in a kid, and then becomes that kid. The personality becomes this accumulation of fragments of what it takes to get positive attention or love in the love cup from this person or that person in the child's life. The fewer sources pouring love into the child's love cup, or the less overall amount going into the cup, the more of a chameleon the child becomes, forever changing personalities in an incessant quest to get love wherever and whenever he or she can. In contrast, the child who is consistently, significantly, and through multiple love methods given love realizes that he or she doesn't need to change his or her personality to get love, but instead experiences a constant flow of love, quite apart from his or her actions or personality changes. This child develops with less anxiety over not knowing who to be. Yet, even in the best homes, the child is constantly reading the parents. At the deepest levels, quite apart from any conscious action, the child is becoming whomever he or she has to be to get the love into the love cup, to some greater or lesser degree. So imagine a large family of 4 or 5 kids around the dinner table with mom and dad at each end. Each kid is, metaphorically speaking, holding out his or her love cup. It's like a bunch of baby robins in a nest with their mouths agape, begging for food. Except in this case, it's food for the soul, love, the most important building block of life. Thus, each child develops particular personality traits, even dominant ones, based on what he or she believes is necessary to get love. So around that table, you have the good kid, the funny kid, the quiet kid, the rascal, the chatty and happy kid, the smart kid, the creative kid, and etc., based on whatever is valued by the parents. And those parental values can be conveyed both explicitly and wordlessly. Also, while actually giving love to one or another child, the good parent models for the other children the giving of love. The parent says, "Bethany, how did your big test go today? What was the hardest part? Gregory, how are things going with your new girlfriend? Tony, are you still protesting the playground rules to your teacher and principal? Will you teach us, Sophia, right now, how to divide 2 fractions? We'd love to hear." By giving attention to one or another child, the parent pours love into that child's love cup and shows the other kids how to give love, and more simply, how to be a responsible human being. Yet, by deliberately moving focus and love around the table, the parent is tactically conveying the extremely powerful message: there is plenty of love to go around. There is no need to fight for it or compete. We'll just take our time making sure that everyone gets their cups filled. By implicitly conveying this abundance, the parent puts the child's soul at rest. Again, every form of love is fundamentally nothing more than the transmission of positive attention, the transfer of energy, to be precise. So it's not just the dinner table, it's the sports field, the garage, the bedtime bathtub, the kitchen, in the car, and on and on. The job of a good parent is to be consistently pouring love into the love cup of the children or child. That's what parenting is. It's the transferring of energy, the transferring of love to the child, so that first the child can have a happy childhood, and it is the transferring of love into the child's love cup, so that second the child walks into adulthood without a love deficit. A deficit of love in that love cup radically increases the odds that the now adult child will engage in destructive and self-destructive actions to steal love, to keep the spot in the center of the universe, or worse, to give everything away in hopes of getting a little bit of love in return. So the act of giving attention is a powerful one, both to be on the receiving end of it, but also to witness someone you love doing it to a brother or sister, friend or stranger. And the child learns, eventually becoming an instrument of this exact same act, wanting to win the parent's love for doing so, but also experiencing the sublime joy that comes from both receiving and giving love to others and himself.
Are you ready to level up your astrology game? Join the Alchemist Laboratory by Solar Systems. For just $33 a month, you get access to 10 plus courses, a resource library, manifestation secrets, live Q&As, and so much more. Over $2,300 in value. Transform your understanding of astrology and unlock hidden knowledge. Sign up now through the school app and follow Solar Systems on TikTok and Instagram.
Problems at the dinner table. But now imagine if one of the parents at that dinner table never got his or her love cup filled, as a child or in life. I've known countless clients and families wherein one of the parents is still very much engaged in the act of getting his or her own love cup filled, because it never got filled when they were younger. And so, they effectively use their children to fill their own love cup. Ain't nothing worse than this. See, the job of the parent is to fill the child's love cup, not just feed and clothe the child. And in theory, the parent got his or her love cup filled as a child and throughout life, and is therefore always able to engage in the act of pouring love into the child's love cup. But far too many parents go into parenthood with empty or half empty cups, or cups forever hemorrhaging. And so, they begin to siphon love from the child as he or she ages, using the child to meet his or her own needs for love, acceptance, price, listening, guidance, or what have you, whether through affection, attention, or later through time and stolen decisions. If, for example, the mother of the head of the table, or father, single parent, grandparent, foster parent, of the big family, never got her love cup filled, she may use family dinner time or any other time as an opportunity to talk, on, about her life and her day, and her never-ending stories or complaints. By constantly keeping the spotlight on herself, she is stealing the attention from her children and husband. Thereby, in effect, she's running around the table, pouring love from her children's love cups into her own. Or the father who listens to the achievements of the children, only to cap each story with the proclamation of some achievement of his own in some petty game of one-upmanship with an 11-year-old. Stealing praise, the thinking goes. I'm only good when everyone else is below me, even my own children. Yes, the mark of a small man. But far worse, it has the effect of stealing love from the child, and the child begins life with the neurosis of never getting enough love, a state that starts far younger than most people realize and protracts well into adulthood. Resultingly, the empty love cup syndrome now gets passed on into yet one or more generations, extending the family disease. Basically, if you can't have positive attention, both regularly and significantly, you're not ready to be a parent, because you'll end up stealing it from your children, and that is the most hideous of diseases. So let's say the parents never got their love cup filled. The real problem arises in the love cup equation when the parent is not pouring love into a child's love cup. When a child is not getting positive attention, he or she will resort to getting negative attention, for that is infinitely better than no attention. No attention means that I don't see you. You don't matter. It's a negation of one's very existence. Children have a way of making their needs known. The louder the tantrum, the greater the love need, and the parent is forced to change, or the child becomes infinitely more rebellious and harder to handle. As the saying goes, adults don't make children, children make adults. In effect, the child's soul is expressing the magnitude of its pain and longing. Tantrums are never just about what is happening in the moment. It is always, always deeper stuff. And the parent is forced out of the center of his or her universe, forced to put the child there, at least long enough to transfer some amount of love into the love cup of the child. If a child is not getting positive attention, not getting the love cup filled, The problem always tracks back to the same source. The parent never got his own love cup filled, or somehow it got emptied. A problem child is always the result of a problem parent. So, back to the mother or father at the dinner table. She might be a perfectly loving, hugging, kissing, serving, and saying, I love you a lot type of parent, but she has this unyielding proclivity to talk incessantly, and talk, and talk, and talk, to the point of the kids rolling their eyes a lot, having heard mom's same stories innumerable times. The effect of this inability to give more attention than she takes is that cups are going unfilled. In fact, they are being drained by her. This becomes highly problematic for the child, his spiritual development, and the positive growth of his personality. For basically, the child is now competing not just with 3 or 4 other siblings for love, but is competing with his own mother for the attention of the family, just as everyone else at the table is now in competition for the limited supply of love. A supply that is now also diminished by one parent, who has become a taker rather than a giver. A shortage of love ensues no matter how full the father's cup is. In its worst form, where the parent is forever using the child to get his or her own emotional and spiritual needs met, it is fundamentally a form of spiritual incest, or emotional incest. It is invading and stealing from the child to get your own needs met. The effects can be far more debilitating long term than anything else that the parent could do. Perhaps the parent with the empty love cup manifests that shortage not in the form of incessant talking, but in the form of incessant working. As an adult still trying to win the love of an ungiving and perhaps even now deceased parent, or perhaps the siphoning of love from the children comes in the form of using the child to get the parent's affection needs met. I'm not talking about the SA and incest. I'm citing the all too common occurrence of one parent basically falling in love with the children, while perhaps the other falls in love with his or her career, and using the child for lots and lots of affection, hugs and kisses, all the while couching it in terms of doing it for the child, when it is about far more than that. Or even worse, the parent who commits the emotional incest, using the child as her therapist and emotional tampon of sorts, dumping the problems and the gripes onto a young human being ill-equipped to handle adult problems. All of these convey to the child, your needs aren't important. Mine are. Despite whatever actual words of love might be coming out of the parent's mouth, the action of the parent conveys something different, and the soul of the child picks up on it. I'm not important. I don't matter. All that matters is mom or dad. And a child, at least when young, is generally very eager to oblige and give to the parent. That taking of nature then becomes part of the child's personality, dangerously so. Or, if not taken care of, the soul of the child takes on some negative or self-destructive form that is driven by the parent's failure to give sufficient love. The child's love cup reads empty. That's when all sorts of goofy stuff starts to happen in a family. That's when kids really start acting out. Parents fight harder for control, and ever greater conflicts arise, both at home and at school. Yet, if the parent routinely fails to pour love into the love cup of the child, bitterness grows, resentment grows, depression grows, all that is bad and unhealthy grows in the heart of the child. It may get buried deeply or it may live on the surface, but it is there. It's always there. The real tragedy is that this generally does not start in the child's teen years. That's when it reaches the level of serious conflict, because the child's spirit and strength have increased. The parent may be significantly losing control by then, and the conflict is just the symptom. But the problem itself started long before the teen years. The parent had been stealing love, or at least not giving it, long before that happened. This problem of a parent whose love cup was never filled can have the effect of damaging the actual love cup or the child. This problem of a parent whose love cup was never filled can have the effect of damaging the actual love cup of the child, addressed in later chapters, in addition to shorting the amount of love in the child's cup. And a child with an empty love cup becomes an adult with an empty love cup, perpetuating the cycle and engaging in all manner of self-destructive actions to either fill the cup or run from all of the pain and feeling only empty inside. But damaged or not, each one of us is forever trying to get more love into the love cup of our soul. Energy transfer. In the end, the giving of love in the form of positive attention is about the transfer of energy from one person to another, whether it is understood by physics and the science community or not. We all feel something, some boost, some lift, some internal change. When someone has given us love, when someone has made us the receiver of their positive attention, there has been a movement of energy from the giver to the receiver. We've all felt it. Love is energy. Positive attention is energy. Assuming all is well with the love cup, the body stores that energy, either to feed off of or to transfer to someone else. But it is energy, fuel, capable of giving warmth to the bearer. In positive adult relationships, there is a back and forth flow of this life energy. In negative adult relationships, there is an imbalance flow, one person taking more than they're giving. In a positive parent-child relationship, the flow of energy of a positive attention is largely one-directional, from parent to child. It is neither the child's job nor in his ability to create any sort of equal balance of energy flow towards the parent, and any attempt by the parent to make it so results in a net loss for the child, simply because the child has less to begin with, less years from which to have it filled, less alternative sources from which to get love, and a less developed capacity to meter the flow of love outward. Thus, the child easily drains off what little love and life energy she has because her inclination is to give it all away, which is humanity in its purest state. But it's only humanity's purest and wisest state when A, the cup is whole and possessing of love, as opposed to having a hole in the bottom of and thus hemorrhaging love as a spiritual disease, and B, the bearer of the cup knows how to replenish its contents. It is the flow of that energy, both in and out, that drives the human animal. It is the desire for positive attention, for love energy. We are all driven by the desire to fill the love cup and give love to others. Song recommendation. Check out the song Time for Me to Fly by REO Speedwagon. It refers to a love relationship but can be also used to better understand parent-child relationships too.
Take a moment to notice what stirred for you as you listened. You don't need to fix it or understand it yet. If this resonated, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear what stood out for you. You can also find the full series and my work linked below.